Good morning, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with something that I am very, very belated on, but it's kind of a good time to do this. Today is the first anniversary of my channel. 1 year ago today, I released the first puzzle on my channel. So, for people who don't know, the reason I created my channel is because I suffer from absolute anxiety, and I created a puzzle that I literally could not solve. And with the help of a fellow setter, Sotek, we figured out how the puzzle would work. And I was very, very scared about releasing the puzzle, even though it had some beautiful logic in it. And that was a puzzle called Psycho Alien. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to release a video so people who encountered the puzzle could find the beautiful logic, even though I didn't think most people could solve it. And eventually, at the beginning, my channel was just for me to release some of my solve videos for some of my own puzzles. And then friends started sending me puzzles saying, do one of mine. And then over time, my channel turned into what it is now. And it kind of just happened by osmosis. And it kind of is still a bit weird to me that my channel has come into a channel where I'm releasing daily videos, and I've done this for a year now. 9 months ago was when I started doing daily videos, and 9 months ago is when I released the first puzzle I ever created. I did a video on my channel, and that was the puzzle Psycho Killer 2. With the first puzzle I ever created. Yes, don't ask me why it's called Psycho Killer 2. There's a whole story to that. And that was released on the 27th of November. And back when I did that, I said very shortly I will release the puzzle. I'll do a video of the follow-up puzzle to that, Psycho Killer 3. And it is now 9 months later, and I thought this would be a good time to finally do Psycho Killer 3. Now, this one is actually a little scary to me because I have not looked at this puzzle in over 12 months. I remember people at the time saying this puzzle was actually quite tricky, and it was beautiful, but had some very interesting spots in it. And I remember nothing about this puzzle. Absolutely nothing. I'm looking at the grid going, I have no idea. It's been thousands of puzzles that I have solved since I last looked at this. I'm going in completely blind. I have no clue what I'm looking at. So I'm calling this a blind solve of me solving a puzzle by a guy called Bremster from a very long time ago. No idea. So before I get onto the puzzle, yeah, my channel is now a year old. How did that happen? Time passes, I suppose. Running on the channel at the moment, there is the Skilling Sudoku puzzle pack, which details of the pack below, details of a playlist where I've released a whole heap of videos on solves for that. Probably haven't done all of them, but who knows? Maybe if I'm really lucky, I have. Layers of Entropy puzzle pack has also been something that I was sent recently and have released. There'll be hopefully a link to that below, but if not, that'll be on my Patreon page, free for everyone. All of the packs I release are free for everyone on my Patreon. Submission guidelines, all of that sort of stuff below. If you want to get announcements of everything that gets released on my video, on my channel, or like videos that are released in other playlists or packs that get released, even if they're not released on my channel, if you've got a pack that's coming out and you want me to announce it, I will do that on my Twitter. So just if you want to just get puzzle announcements and stuff, follow me on Twitter, details below. Bremster Puzzles, I think it is. Yeah, all of the details below. Let's have a look at this puzzle. A year coming, and oh my lord, I have no idea what I'm looking for. Even explaining the rules of Psycho Killer is a bit weird. So yes, this is a Psycho Killer puzzle. This was the rule set I came up with to create my first puzzle. Wow, what was I thinking? Anyway, normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. There are cages in the grid, and digits cannot repeat within cages. That is a standard rule. Black cages are normal killer cages and will sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. Okay. Red cages are psycho killer cages. Digits placed in psycho killer cages refer to another box in the grid and will point to a digit in the same location in the box that they point to. So if we use this 10 cage as an example, if this was a 4, then this cell would point to here. If this was a 6, then that would point to here. And if this was a 9, this would point to here. So this would be pointing to this cell. So if these were those, this 4 would be pointing to here, the 6 would be pointing to here, and the 9 would be pointing to here, because this is the same position in box 4, this is the same position in box 6, and this is the same position in box 9. And what the 10 in this means is those 3 cells will have to sum to 10. So the digits that these point to must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. So that's how psycho killer cages work. It's not the digits in the cage that have to sum to the number. It's the digits that they point to must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. Right. Digits cannot repeat within cages, however. So you cannot repeat digits in the cage. That's how psycho killer cages work. And with that, this is solvable. I remember that it's solvable. I don't remember how. Let's give this a shot. Well, I gave myself a 6 cage. This is a 1, a 2, and a 3. I gave myself a 6 cage here. This is a 1, 2, 3. This is a 15. So I know that these are 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, this is a 6 psycho killer, which means whatever these point to has to sum to 6. They have to come from the bottom rows, and I can't use 1, 2, 3. So I can't, because I can't use 1, 2, 3 in the box. So these are from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, because these sum to 6, I can't use 4 in either of those 2 spots, because if I put 4 in either of those 2 spots, I would immediately break the total. I could put 4 here. Now, this is a 21 cage, but this could be as low as 4, so this could be an 8 if both... I can't put a 5 in any of these, because if I put a 5 in any of these, the other 2 would have to sum to 1, because it would be pointing at itself. So there's no 5 in any of these. So that does mean there's a 5 in this 8 cage. And that matters, because a 5 in this 8 cage is going to point to itself. So the other 2 digits it needs to point to are going to have to sum to 3. So these are also going to be from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But the 5 will be self-referential and point to itself. So it's going to have to point to a 1 and a 2 using in somewhere in these cells. Now it can't get it there. So this can't be an 8. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9. I could put a 2 there. I can't put a 1, 2, or 3 in here. And I've got a 1, 2, 3 here. So there's 2 of 1, 2, or 3 in here. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9. This has to be a 4, because I've got a 6, 7, 8, 9 quad. This has to be a 4. So there's no 4 in here. And these are 1, 2, 3, and 5. So I can't do 1, 6, and I can't do 3, 4. This is a 2, 5. There's no 2, 5 in those. Well, that was unexpected. So this is pointing here. So that is giving me either 1 or 3. If it's giving me a 1, these are going to have to give me 5. If it's giving me 3, these are going to have to give me 3. Now, if that's a 6, it can still do it in lots of ways. 5. All I know is 5 is in here and they have to point to 1 or 2. Hang on, this can't, this is 4 or 5 because it sees 1, 2, 3, and this has to be from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 4 or 5. This is a weird puzzle. What sort of crazy person would set a puzzle like this? This is 21 without a 4 in it now. So it must have a 7 in it. So there's no 7 there. "12 without a 1, 2, or 3. So it's not 3, 9. It's 4, 8, or 5, 7. "11. I feel there's more going on here. Hang on, this is a 20 with a... This is a 20. I can't put a 1 in a 20 cage. These would have to sum to 19. This is a 3, and these are 8 and 9. So this is a 1. This is an 8, 9. So this can't be a 6 anymore. So these were from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, this can't be a 6 because if I made this a 6, this would be 8 or 9 and I've already blown the total. Because 6, 8, and these would have to be 0. And if it's 9, these would have to be minus 1. That's not going to work. Now, this is 1, so these are either 5, or these have to point at digits summing to 5. This still could be a 6 if that's a 2, and I can get a 3 from down here. But this is a quad now. 1, 4, 6, and 7. So this needs to point to a 5. Well, it can't point to a 5 there, so this is not a 1. It can no, it can't point to a 5 in either of those spots because 5 has to be in here. So this is not 4 or 6. This is a 7, and this is a 5. So there is a 5 here. So that digit plus another digit that this points to has to sum to 10. Now, this could still be a 5 because the other digit could be somewhere it doesn't see. Very, very strange. I don't remember this puzzle at all. This is not 5, 6 anymore. This is not 1. So 1 is down here and 1 is down here. Now, these have to sum to 15. Now, if there's a 6 here, it's self-referential, and the 1 or the 4 would have to point to a 9. Now, that... I don't think that can be a 4, because if that's a 4, this is a 4 or a 5, and that would have to point to a 10 or an 11. That is not a 4. This is a 1 or a 6. So there's a 4 in one of those two. But this could be a 4 or a 1, and if it's a 6, this would have to point to a 9, which would mean it would have to be a 1. So if this is a 6, this is a 1, which works. If this is a 4, that could be lots of stuff. And if either of these are 1, not sure. But there's no 7 in here anymore. So there is a 7 in one of those two. Now this is a 1, which means one of these has to be low. But it's one of these has to be low. Because the maximum of this... Well, hang on. These are 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. This 9 is not 2, 7 now. I'm kind of all over the place. There's no 4 in this 21. I've already got that. I've already got that. Two, 3, 4, 5. There's no 5. This is a 5. This is 2, 3, 4. There's no 4 there. Where do I put 1 in this row? It's here. This is a 1. This is a 6. This is a 4. So the 6 and the 4... Oh, right. Okay, so this is a 6 and points to itself. So this 4 needs to point to a 9, and this becomes a 9. There is no 9 in any of those. So this is an 8 and this is a 9. There's no 7 in those because 7 is down here. This is a 6, 8 pair and this is a 7. There's no 9 in those. This is 5, 6, 8. So this is a 7, 9 pair. So this is 1, and the digits that are here need to sum to 5. So those digits, it's either going to be there and there, or there and there need to sum to 5. And it's either 1, 4, or 2, 3. I can't do 4, 5 in here anymore. So what about this 8 cage? I've got the 5 and the 6 and the 8 need to point to digits summing... Hang on, the 6 and the 8 need to point to a 1, 2. Because the 5 is going to point to itself. The only 1, 2 I can get in the 6 cage is the 1. So this has to be the 6. So I need to have a 1 or a 2 somewhere down here. Actually, it's got to be a 2. Because the 5 is going to point to itself. The 6 is pointing to a 1. So I've already got 6. So there has to be a 2 in one of those. If the 2 is here, then that's a 5. Hang on, is that right? Because this is... No, not necessarily. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is a 5 pointing to here. This is pointing here. So if this is a 5, then this becomes a 5. Sorry, then if this is a 5, then this has a 5 and this needs to point to another 5. But if this is a 5, this can't be... If this is a 5, then this needs to point to a 2. So if this goes 6, 5, then this is pointing to a 5, this is pointing to a 2, but this goes 5, 2, and this needs to point to another 5, which would put a 5 there. So this would be 6, 5, 8, 2, 5. Okay. If this is an 8, then this is pointing to an 8. This needs to point to a 2, which means this is a 2. Eight is pointing to 2. This needs to point to a 2. This becomes a 5. 6 is pointing at 1. Oh, I can't wrap my head around this. If this is 8, what sort of maniac would set a puzzle like this? If this is an 8, this needs to be a 2. This becomes a 5. And this needs to point to a 2. Which it could do in lots of different places. I could use a 4, a 3. Actually, it'd have to be a 3 or a 4. Okay. I must use 2 of 1 or 2 in here. Because I can't use 1 or 2 down here at all. So this is 579. Actually, this is 579 now because I can't use a 6 in it. This is 579. So these are 1, 2, 3, 8. There is an 8 in here. There is an 8 in here. So there is an 8 in here. So it's pointing at this cage. There's no 5 there. The 8 has to point at a 5, a 7, or a 9. If it points at a 7, well, it can't point at the 9. Because if it points at the 9, it blows the rest of it. If it points at the 7, the others have to point at a 1 or a 2. And if it points at the 5, it has to point at 2 digits summing to 5. But the only other places it can point to are in these boxes. In fact, in those boxes, it could be self-referential. But it can't get 1s in those. In fact, it can't get 1s at all. Hang on, this can't point at a 1. Because if I put a 2 in here, it's self-referential. If I put a 3 in here, it can't point at a 1 because I can't put a 1 in here. If I put a 1 in here, I can't get a 1 because it won't be able to see a 1 in that column. So this can never see a 1. So this has to point at the 5 with the 8. So this is not the 8. So this has to be 5, 2, 3 that it points at. So this has to point at the 5. Now this 19 cage must have an 8 or a 9 in it. So let's do that to simplify things. Maybe I should be doing more killer because I am brain melting from these. Maybe I need to do more normal Sudoku first. But there's not a lot of killer I can do. I know 9 is down here. 5 is in one of those. If 5 is in the 12 cage, it goes with 7, which I can't do. So that's a 5, which pushes 5. Can I put 5 in here? 5, 8, 6, maybe. 5 in here even is possible. 5 can go anywhere down here. 5 is... So what can be this now be? This has to be a 4-8 cage. So there's no 4 there. This is a 6. This is an 8. Do I have anything pointing at this? This is 4-8. These are 1, 2, 3, 9. But this could be a 9 if those are the things that sum to 5 for this. This is a triple. Put in your triples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Well, there's no 9 there. So 9 is down here. One is down here, 9 is down here. So this isn't 2, 9 anymore. This is 3, 8 or 4, 7. There's a psycho killer trick I am missing, I am sure. So this is pointing at itself. This is pointing at the 9. I've got that. This is pointing here. So these have to sum to 7, whichever one of these is the 2 will give me 1 plus 5 plus 2, which gives me the 8. This needs, I've already figured out, this needs to be 5, 2, 3. This is going to point, this needs to point at a 5 or a 2. So where can it get it? It can't get it here. It could get it here. So this could be a 2. It could be a 3. It could be a 4. It can't be a 5, because if it was 5, the only thing it could get would be a 5. It can't be a 6. Could be a 7. Can't be an 8. Could be a 9. It can't be a 9. So it can't be a 7 or a 9. So this is a 2, 3, or a 4. So the only place it can get a 5 or a 2 from is there. So this is a 2, 3, or a 4. Oh. This is 5, 9, or 6, 8. If this is 5, 9, this is an 8, and this is an 8. If this is 6, 8, this is a 9. If this is 6, 8, I've got the 8s lining. 8 is a... I need to put an 8 in one of those. I can't put an 8 there. If I put an 8 there, there's an 8 here, and now I can't put an 8 or a 9 in either of these cages, and I've broken them. This is not the 8. This is the 8. And I know that 8 has to point to 5, because I can't put a 1 in any of those cells. This is the 5, which means there's a 5 down here somewhere. That's a 1, 2, 3 triple. Now, these are what has to point to 2 and 3 now. Right. Now, this can't point to... These have to point to a total of 5. Now, this can't do it. If this is a 3, I've blown the total. This can't be a 1 or I've blown the total. So one of these has to be... If this is 1, 3... There is something very strange going on here. Now, if this is a 1, this is a 2... And then I need another 3. No, that's not true. If this is a 1 and this... If this is a 1... This is a 1, this being a 2 is not correct. But if this is a 1... If this is a 1 and this was a 2, the puzzle is broken. Because if this is a 1 and this is a 2, I need 3 more. I can't put a 3 there because a 3 would point to there and that would make it 3. And if I put 2 there, that would be self-referential and I'd be getting 2. So this can't be 1, 2. And if this is 2, it's self-referential. And then this would have to point to a 3. Can that ever be 2? If this is a 2, it's self-referential, and then this would need to be 3. I can't put 3 there because it'd be 3, 3, and if it's 2, it's self... If this is 2, this is broken. Wait, whoa. If this is 2, it's self-referential, and I've got 7, and this needs to point to 3. Right. How do I make this point to 3? If I put 2 in it, well, this is 2, 3. This would need to point to a 3. That would need to be a 3, and I've got 2 3s in a row. This is not 2. This is a 1. Now, if this points to a 2, I've got exactly the same problem. Because then this equals 2, and this needs to make 3. 2 is 2, and that makes the total 9, and 3 means that needs to be 3, and that's not legal. This has to be 3. This is a 1, 2 pair, which means this is a 2 and this is a 1. This is 3. This needs to point to 2, which means this is either a 2 and self-referential, or this is a 3 and this is a 2. Either of those work. Okay, there's no 3 in here, so there's no 8 in here. This is a 4, 7 pair. There's no 4 here. This is actually a 2. This is a 3. This is a 4. Okay, some progress. There's no 3 in any of those. These are 1, 2, 9. There's no 7 up here, so this is 7. This is a 6, 9 pair. This puzzle is nuts. Who would make something like this? There's no 3 in this 19 cage. This is crazy. No idea where to look next. Hang on. Oh no, that is a 2, 3 pair because this is a 1, 2, 3. This is a pair now though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9? No, that's completely wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is known. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an 8. Okay, so if this is a 4, this is a 3, and that would have to be a 7, and it can't be. So remember, this has to point to either a 5 or a 2, and that's not a 5 or a 2. So this has to be a 5 or a 2, or this has to be a 5 or a 2. Hang on, I can't... One of those is a 5. I can't put a 2 in either of these. So this is pointing at one of those two cells, where I cannot put a 2. So it has to point to a 5. So this is going to point to a 5. So this has to point to a 5. So this has to be a 5. And this has to be an 8, because that is pointing at that cell. It's so easy to get that mixed up. This is pointing at that cell, so that has to be a 5. That has to be an 8. Now this is pointing at itself. This is pointing here. So this is 5, 6. This now needs to point to 2, so that becomes a 2. So this is getting 5. This needs to get another 5, so that has to be the 5. Which means this is not 5, so this is not 9. Who would make a puzzle like this? Sorry, I keep saying that, but this is... I love these puzzles so much. Sorry. Okay, what more can I do here? Okay, so I've got this is pointing at the 5. This is pointing at the 3. I've already got that, don't I? This has to point at a 2. So it's either a self-referential 2 or that is a 2. If this is a 2, this could be anything. If this is a 3, this is a 2. Okay, don't know. What I do know is that that or that or that or that have to sum to 5. So if this is a 3, this is a 2. If this is a 1, this is a 1, 4 or a 2, 3. That could be a 3. This is either a 3, 2 or a 2, 3. 1, 4 doesn't work. Okay, I need to find more Sudoku somewhere in this puzzle. Because I think I've run out of killer logic for now. There's no way I can do anything with this at this point. It's just... So what have I got along here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I've got to put a 7 in one of those. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 4, 6 or 7. What am I doing? 4, 6 or 7. Because I can't use 8 or 9. One of these has to be a 2. I can't use a 2 in this cage. Because 2 has to go in one of those. Because if that's a 3, that has to be a 2. So there's no 2 in this cage at all. 2 is definitely in one of those 2 spots. So there's no 2 in this cage. 4, 6, 9, 4, 7, 8, 5, 6, 8. 5 is down here somewhere, though. There's no 2 there. Four, 6, 7. One of the... If that's 2, that could be anything, though. If this is 3, 2, 5, 2, 6, 8, this wouldn't have 2, 6, or 8 in it. Hey, no. Can this not have 6 or 8 in it? No, this has to have 6 or 8 in it. This can't be 6 or 8. If I don't use 6 or 8 in this, this is broken. There must be a 6 or an 8 in this. So this is not 6, 8. This is 5, 9. This is 9. This is 5. So this is 8. This is 2. This is 5. This has got to be restricted now. Well, there's no 5 there. This has to be restricted, doesn't it? No, it can still be 1, 8 or 3, 6. This is 4, 4. This is 8. This is not 4. This is 6 or 7. So this is... Hang on, there's no 5 in this cage. This is 4, 7, 8. So that's a 7, that's a 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a quad. 1, 2, 3, 6. There's no 1 or 6 in here, so there's no 2 or 3 in here. That's a 2, 3. This is a 9. This is a 6 because of the 1, 6 pair. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Yep, 2, 3, 4. There's no 2 there. That's a 2, 3, 4 triple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. What sort of crazy person would do this? So this is 1, 3, 6, or 8. Now this is either 2, 3, or this is 3, 2. For this 7, 9. I've got to be able to resolve this somehow. Because these are 1, 2, 5, 6. Well, there's no 5 in those. So this is a 5. Which means I cannot make those two sum to... So this is 1. If I put a 5 here, if I make that a 9, then these would have to sum to 1. That doesn't work. This is the 7. This is the 9. So this is not the digit. Those are not the digits that sum to 5. It's those two. So this is not a 9, and this is not a 6 or an 8. These have to sum to 5. So this is a 3, and this is a 2. There is no 2 in here. There is no 3 or 6 in those. That's a 1, 8. This is a 6. This is a 1. Okay, now, progress. This is still not resolved. Or if it is, I'm not seeing it. Okay, this is a 6. This is a 3. I guess it's crazy. I did this to people. I still think it's a beautiful concept, though. I love these puzzles so much. Okay, so these have to sum to 28. That is pointing at that. This is actually a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 9. 4, 7, and 9. Got to put a 1 in one of those two. So this is 1, 4, 7, 9. So how do you make up a 28 cage? Lots of different ways. So these have to sum to 21 because I've got 7 already. Well, that can't be a 1, because if this is a 1, it would point to a 1, and those two digits would have to point to two digits summing to 20, which is not going to work. This can't be a 1. This is the 1. So this is a 4, a 7, or a 9. Now 2 or 6. Now that would be here or here. I think they are both okay. 4, 7, 9 is here. No, here, here, or itself. Could it be 2? Because these would be 9. These would have to sum to 19. I don't think this can be a 4. Because if this is a 4, this is pointing at 2, and those two digits would have to point to two digits summing to 19. That's not going to work. This is not a 4. That's a 7-9 pair. So this is a 4, this is a 7. There's no 7 there. This is a 7-9 pair. That is a 4. That's not a 4. This is a 4. So this 4 is pointing there. So I've got 15. These have to point to two digits summing to 13. 13. So if this is a 2, I've got 5. And if it's 6, I've got 9. So those are two possibilities. So those will be that. And this cell is either itself or that one. So if this is 9, one of these would have to be a 4. That can't be a 9. Because these have to sum to 13. If this is a 9, one of those has to be a 4 and I can't do it. So this has to be a 7, which means I've got 4. Which means the other one has to be a 9, which means this has to be a 6. So what I've got now is, if I get rid of that colouring, 7 is pointing here, that becomes yellow. 6 is pointing here, that becomes yellow. So what I had, whoops, that becomes yellow. And what I've got is 4, 15, 19, 28. Those are 28. So this is a 2. This is a 9. This is a 7. This is a 9. This is a 1. This is a 9. This is an 8. This is a 1. This is not a 2. What is it? 1, 2, 3. This is not a 3. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. This is 6. This is 8. This 4 means this is not 4, so this is 4. How is this not resolved yet? The 7 makes this 9 and 7. This 1 makes this 3 and 2 and 3. No, and 1. Please tell me that was just a typo. Yeah, and 1. So this is 3. And in order for this to now work, the 8 is pointing to the 5. The 1 is pointing to the 3. This needs to point to a 2. This becomes the 2, which I could have got by Sudoku. But anyway, this becomes a 3. This becomes a 2. And that is Psycho Killer 3 by Bremster from a very long time ago. Well, that's the puzzle that I promised I would do 9 months ago. I created it. I think I made this in July 2021. So I think it may have been the 4th or the 5th puzzle I ever created. I have no idea how I did these. These were insane puzzles to make. And I really do like them. I do find this rule set absolutely mind-bending. I'm really glad I was able to solve it. I don't even remember how long it took me. Oh my Lord, was I actually recording? Please tell me I was recording. Yeah, it took me about 45 minutes. Okay. That was a lot of fun. So thank you for those of you who've been with me for the whole year. There's quite a few of you who have been. Those of you who've joined me along the way, thanks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, a year's worth of stuff. Wow. Yeah, thanks everyone. Please enjoy the packs. Please enjoy the videos. Please enjoy everything. Please enjoy puzzles. Puzzles are great. They've kept me sane for many years, not just the year I've been doing this channel. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, this puzzle aside, which is a bit weird, yeah, I hope everyone is having fun. And as always, good luck with your solving.